I guess this would be Sunday of the long weekend, family day long weekend. Just trekked across the lake again, almost at the spot where we're going to be camping, or not camping, but where we've got a little camp sitting log set up, and I'm going to try out a long fire today, I think. It's about maybe minus 20, minus 22. Stiff breeze coming down the lake. So yeah, as long as you keep moving, it's fine. And once we get up into the bush, it'll be warm and no wind basically. We get a fire going and have some lunch and all that. What a beautiful day though, not a cloud in the sky, but those are always the cold days. Anyways, off we go. Hands are freezing now. Okay, so here's the plan. I want to make a long fire, and there's a Scandinavian name for it that I don't recall now, but basically the idea is, so I tromped around in the bush and found that long log there, and I'm going to cut it such that I've got two pieces that will fit roughly, basically the length all the way across the fire pit, so maybe a 3 or 4 foot section each. So I'll have a lower one and then a gap, and I'll use a couple of these sticks to create a 2 or 3 inch gap, and then place the second log across it, and then using the birch bark and all of this little stuff and my flint and steel, we'll get a number of small fires going across the length of the lower log. So basically I'm going to be starting a fire along the lower log in between the two logs, and the heat reflected down from the upper one should then turn into a self-perpetuating, self-sustaining kind of a fire that'll burn for a long time, because we're looking at maybe a 4-inch hunk of wood, and I'll use the two longer ends. And the idea is that it's a self-tending, long-duration fire, and because it's long, it radiates a lot of heat out. So if we're going to be spending the night in, say, like a lean-to type of a situation, you can build yourself one of these things, build a little wall behind it to reflect the heat back, and it should be a pretty comfortable way of doing things. So we'll give that a go. I'll get it set up, and then we'll come back and see how it looks, and we'll light her up and see if I can get her working. Okay, so here we go. So I've prepared both logs. Essentially, just cut that log that I found in half, and have the bottom, what will be the bottom, laying on the ground. Collected up a bunch of birch bark from a long dead birch tree where this stuff was just coming off in sheets. Broke up most of my little stuff and laid it across the top. And on each log, you can see it easier on this one that'll become the top piece. Just took the hatchet and basically just spent a minute and feathered out a bunch of cuts there just to give it a bit more surface area, hopefully to make it easier for it to start up. So the plan will be to use the old flint and steel char cloth, get some of the birch bark going, and I'm going to start the fire at this end. The wind is moving in that direction, so it'll probably kind of help things along this way. And once I get a bit going here, then I can just take a piece of birch bark or a twig and get the rest of this birch bark going. Anyhow, once I get the first bit going, I'll take the second log, lay him one end on that cross brace, one end on that cross brace, and we'll see how she burns. So we'll come back once I've got this lit up in the beginnings of this happening. This is my first time doing this, so it's a bit of an experiment. It's definitely a lot more effort to gather all this stuff and prep it than, if I were just going to be sitting here to have a boil up and a bit of lunch. Just a Swedish fire torch would be the easiest way to go, or just a small, conventional fire. This is more intended for if you had to spend a night or spend longer term. It's more effort to start with, but it should be, if it works out well, a lot less effort to keep going and use. And I certainly don't need to get this sort of a fire going today because it's really nice conditions and all that. But it's good to practice these things and don't get too many opportunities to, so here we go. We'll come back momentarily. Okay, so this is literally 2 minutes later. Got the initial fire going with the flint and steel. A lot of this is the birch bark burning, so we'll see how the rest of the tinder gets going, and yeah, we'll see how she takes off. I'm gonna feed some sticks in there now, and I don't know, report back in a few minutes. Right now it's going nicely. We'll see if it stays that way. Well, it's been many minutes. Like it's been probably half an hour or an hour since we lit this guy up. And I must, unfortunately, and it pains me to do so, I've got to sort of call my whole effort here an abysmal failure. No matter what I've done, I've just been completely unable to get those two logs to burn with the stuff burning in between them. So, there could be a couple of problems here, but I'm going to have to try again, but not today. Could be the wood is just a little on the wet side. Part of the problem is my base log isn't on the ground. I think that may have something to do with it. I've tried different height differences, and nothing that I've done, whether I'd be working in this narrow gap area where the fire is there with a larger gap, just cannot seem to get the wood, those two logs burning in between each other sustainably. So I don't know, I've gone through a ton of wood and a ton of effort, and yeah, I'm going to declare it enough for now and get lunch going. So yeah, there you go. Can't win them all, and I guess that's why we practice, because I'd rather screw it up here when I'm in good conditions than decide that, this is the way I'm going to go if I needed to, and have it be this monumental pain in the neck that it's been. So yeah, better to make your mistakes in practice. So we've gotten that part out of the way, so maybe we'll see how it goes another time. Okay, so I've taken apart my my little two-log setup and just sort of reverted back to a more of a conventional format, just so I can get some water boiling. So yeah, a lot of the wood was a little on the damp side, but it's unfortunate. It was all like standing dead, but yeah, what you gonna do? I don't know if that was why the the long fire there didn't work out, but anyways, we will live to give it a shot another day. So in the meantime, I just stuck a stick in the ground and dangling a pot. Once the water boils up, I have a bit of lunch. It'll be a late lunch now, it's like 3 p.m. And then we'll pack up and head on back. So there you go. It's been a beautiful day the whole time though. Can't really tell in here, but it's just blue skies everywhere, and you can probably see the sunshine on the lake out there. Quite strong winds, but mostly in here we're sheltered almost the entire time. Okay, so the boil up's done. Basically just cleaning up, packing up. Snowshoes will go on and then off across the lake. So where my foot is there is sort of the level of the ground that I'd set up when we were yesterday, when we had the Swedish fire torch going. And through the course of the fire today, we sort of burnt down probably 6 inches or so. And still not on the ground. We've probably got, I would say, at least another 6 inches to go to hit the ground. So I'm going to leave these guys standing so Paul can easily find them in the summer. The next snow that comes along will bury these guys. Fire's completely out. I've stirred snow in and all that. So all that's out. I've got a little bit of tea, raspberry tea for the walk back. And little backpack. You know, I brought along my winter coat and snow pants, figuring that if I, you know, was sitting around, I'd be cold. But really, you know, I've been fine. Yesterday, didn't wear them at all. I was moving a lot yesterday. Walked up to see the king tree and stuff. Today, I'm just wearing my old lumberjack jacket. Lumberjack jacket and just some wind, a shell for the pants, and that's it. Never felt any need for any of that stuff. Even brought these big gauntlets along and didn't feel the need for them at all. I've just been wearing these thin gloves. And we're in the -20s today. So I don't know why. Normally if I'm at home I'd be freezing, but didn't bother me at all today. Oh, and I guess my apologies to Paul, who thoughtfully provided a grate for campfires and stuff like that. I just totally forgot it was there. I saw it yesterday, saw it today, and you know, when it came time to do the boil up, I guess I didn't need to do the stick and a piece of rope to hang my pot. I could have thrown the grate down, but oh well, we'll get her next time, Paul. If you'd have been here with me, then you would have reminded me we would have done it. Anyways, for the next time, I guess. I'm back off across the lake, probably home by 4, have a relax, and then dinner time. So I'm just on the shore here of Himbury Lake, and you can see it's still nice and bright and sunny out there. And more or less, I'm going to follow my trail back, which has largely gotten blown over, kind of back across to the far end of the lake there. I don't know how far that would be, probably less than a kilometer. And should have a nice warm cozy cabin to go into, and maybe have a wobbly pop and a bit of a relax. Anyways, it was a great weekend tromping around in the bush. We're heading home tomorrow, and that's it. Quite a breeze coming across this lake. Now my little hand is freezing, so I'm going to put this phone away and start walking.